Hi, Anissa.
Hey!
And everyone. What is y'all's inspiration to keep going with your YouTube channel and keep creating? Ads.
Ass.
Revenue. Ego.
Yeah.
Did y'all ever have a moment where y'all wanted to end the channel? Never. Not once. I don't know what that feeling's like. I think comments on YouTube have always been nothing but supportive.
Mm-hmm.
I've never had hate from other YouTubers.
And everything's been
And
smooth sailing.
the ad revenue and the algorithm always favors you and does what's best for you constantly.
And people love reactions the most.
And there was never a time where we lost our channel for a month. So, nah, never had that feeling.
No.
Also, love you two so much. And we love you too. The one part that's not sarcastic here. Inspiration to keep going with your YouTube channel and keep creating. Well, I can't speak for both of us.
Ooh.
I could say why I wanted to start up the channel and what keeps me going. When I started the channel, it wasn't to make money or become a career. It was more about one aspect of it. The major aspect of it was to get our foot in the door, create a reputation for ourselves, and be able to get our foot in the door for like movie companies if we wanted to work on a script or something like that, or work on something bigger. And then as time kept going, it did become a kind of it's been a weird emotional journey. And like first it was like this really gratifying experience, like, oh shit, we're making money off this. I didn't even think about that. The first 50 cents came in and I was like, wait a minute, we can make money. I was like a year in, and then I realized I could, and then I had a job I hated and I wanted out of my job, so I chugged at this for like a year and a half straight, and then eventually was able to quit my job. And so with doing the channel, the inspiration of why to keep going now, honestly, it's a little tough. I'm used to it. If I'm being totally honest, I'm used to what I do now.
Well, and it is an autonomous operation to a degree, even though it relies on YouTube partially. We're not under anybody else's thumb. We don't have a boss. It is kind of a self-sufficient machine, and in a lot of ways making a living that way is a lot more preferable than being in a job you could lose in a weekend.
Yeah, and I don't like having a boss. I don't. And this baby was really built up. The Real Rejects is a baby, especially in my eyes and heart, and I would never want to lose it because it's the first thing that was ever been created in our hands that actually worked.
Yeah, it took on a life of its own. Because we've been scheming little things for years and years. And
it's a cool place to experiment. It also opens up so many different opportunities constantly. There's opportunities I've had behind the scenes that I haven't talked about publicly at all yet that has been life-changing for me. And then, of course, finding inspirations of things like Screen Junkies or going on John Campia's show or the Schmodown, like the community it's created.
Getting to meet a lot of heroes and, collaborate with them and, to do the things that we've been fans of for so long is like a neat perk that keeps things going.
At the end of the day, when we had jobs that weren't this, we would spend all our time talking about movies anyway.
Yeah.
We spend all our time talking about what we talk about already online. So what's cool is that like this is our passion, this is our hobby. Like if anything, we've turned our hobby into work.
Yeah,
it's like I wouldn't really say our passion is what we do here. Like we have a passion for it, but it's not our passion per se.
Passion, yeah.
Like doing reactions and reviews and stuff. It's like
dream.
We're passionate about doing it, and we love doing it, but that wasn't the original intent for it. But at the end of the day, it was our hobby.
Yeah,
it was our primary hobby.
Yeah, it seemed like a way to take what we would already be doing and turn it into something productive, and to have something that could allow us to either experiment with the things that we would ultimately want to do, or allow kind of a bridge toward those. It's like getting your foot in the door thing. It's like, well, people's shorts get made into feature films, or just having a presence and showing that about movies nowadays can get your foot in the door for writing or various opportunities. And so it's kind of like a functional thing and a hobby thing all rolled into one.
Yeah, exactly. And it just fits for a lifestyle that we're more proud to live.
Yeah.
As opposed to having a job where it has nothing to do with what we really are passionate about or love, or You know, it's like John's had jobs that he really likes, but they're not really in tune with bigger career pursuits or bigger passion pursuits.
Yeah, it's like the places or the people or the subjects were things that I was passionate about, but not necessarily the positions.
Yeah, and I like being a business owner too. It's fun. It's so fun. You can.
Well, and for me, that's been a huge learning experience in the past. You know, since I've been doing this with you as the main thing, like, you know, learning the ins and outs of business has been quite an adventure, and it's been one that more and more and more I'm very grateful to learn about.
Yeah.
Because not everybody gets to do that, and not everybody has to do that, and so I'm still learning things.
And I think the experience I just wasn't ever anticipating was, to put it bluntly, like I've heard a lot of audio from very successful people that would talking about running businesses and stuff, and they talk about like you eventually, in order to keep your business alive, you got to fall in love with your customers, and in a weird way, like before Patreon ever existed, a lot of that came in the hands of like learning to like the subscribers and love them and really realize that for any level of success you get in life, there's always a lot of people who helped you get there. Because without a lot of people, I find it weird to get egotistical and think you did it all on your own. When in fact, if it wasn't for the people who support you and watch your videos and all these things, you wouldn't be anywhere. Yeah.
Especially in entertainment.
Just that plain and simple.
Because you can make a great video that nobody watches, and is it really that great of a video?
I know people weren't paying to watch our stuff, and you guys are patrons who like pay and show your support here, which was a whole different ballgame. So you have our extra level of gratitude and care. Like I have to leave to go on a trip right now. Like I'm kind of anxious, but I'm aware that if for anyone who's here who's watching this video who pledges $1 a month, which is $12 a year, or $50 a month, which is a lot more money, it doesn't matter like the amount. It's like the fact that people are shelving out any bit of money, and when you've been watching our content for free for so long, you get our extra support and our extra level of gratitude, because you move past this point of business mentality into these are people. Yeah.
People who like actually care about what we do. Because it's easy to get cynical about that on YouTube proper when you've got people kind of barking at you and being like, you know, nitpicking about stuff, or just demanding the next video when you just put the new one up. And, you know, to get this extra personal connection and to kind of see, too, the way it's like, it's easy for anybody, I think, in an entertainment, you know, position to kind of look around and be like, oh, there's so many more people around doing more important work than me. But, you know, the personal connection, you know, really reminds you, it's good motivation for us because it reminds us of the value of what we do, and that, you know, people do tangibly enjoy some of these things. And it's also communal. It's like talking about movies and making movies. Like, movies are a collaborative art form anyway, and then we all gather around them and pick them apart, and we celebrate them, and we, you know, nitpick and stuff. And, you know, it really, that community aspect has become very tangible, and I think that's a big motivator.
I like also the surprise sketch. My favorite part of this whole channel currently is the surprise sketch element to it. Is I don't really know too many channels who can do a lot of commentary, but then also put together some really cool sketches. And so we try to like bridge that gap every once in a while. Just to be like, I know as we do reactions and we do commentary, a lot of people forget that we do commentary, but I'm sick of trying to please the haters on that element. There's no point in trying to please haters. People are going to hate no matter. So, the most we want to end the channel? Absolutely. Totally. Sometimes you feel like, what's the point of doing all this work and this effort and putting your heart and soul into things when you just get so much hate? And it's easy just for people to tell you, like, don't listen to the haters and yada, yada, yada. But sometimes it's hard to not zone in on that.
Yeah.
You know?
As much as you don't want to. You know, and as much as you know that it's not going to help your mindset any, sometimes it's inescapable.
And, you know, like when you're on, it's like when you're on YouTube and they keep changing the way the program works and the algorithm and all this and payments, it can make it very challenging. It can. And
make you feel very powerless.
Yeah. And you're like, why keep doing all this but at the end of the day, there's nothing else I'd rather do. Like until the day comes where, you know, oh shit, I'm working on a show now, or I'm working on a movie or whatever. Like, that's my main thing. I'm going to keep doing this. And I'm going to want to keep, like, this is just a cool hobby. Like, I feel like we're kind of Kevin Smithing this in reverse, where we started off with this and then we're doing, movies and shows.
But it all grew out of this little podcast.
So I always want to keep this alive in some fashion. I want to keep it alive, and because this is a little base place to vent or a place to let your thoughts and feelings out and opinions and stuff. Because I feel like there's a certain type of art and style and skill into commentary that some people who make the movies and stuff can't really do either. So there is a certain, that's why there are the critics and there are those people, the reviewers, but then there's also the creators, and it's kind of cool that every once in a while we can demonstrate that we can do both.
Yeah. Well, it's cool too. It's like, the goal is obviously to be at the point where we're chasing our various other creative ventures, making movies or making music or whatever, but to have this entity here that is, all those things, all the eventual dream goals are kind of things that are, collaborative with other entities and stuff. And so in this day and age especially, it's kind of nice just to have an island that is all our own, that can be whatever we want it to be no matter what.
I guess that's the other cool thing is there's a lot of control here. Like we are always trying to keep everyone happy, which is challenging and difficult and sometimes not healthy. At the end of the day, though, we have control over how it all goes down. We try to keep it happy. We do our best to keep it fair with everyone, especially on Patreon here. We try to keep it fair with everyone. At the end of the day, it's cool to know that, even though we try to keep people happy, we're still calling the shots. It sounds weird. Sounds a little ego. But you kind of have to have a little bit of ego in order to keep alive in this game, honestly.
Hey man, if you've ever been under the thumb, I think you kind of know the
not ego but self-respect.
That's the nicer side of ego. And I mean, if anybody's ever been under the thumb of anybody else, having your own operation is a nice thing. Is a very nice, wonderful thing.
Anyway, Anissa, thanks for the question, my dear.
Much love.
Yeah.